Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and don't feel bad. You are not the only one who did not score at a yard sale today. I know that Saturdays are typically the days when we hope to be able to get out there and make some magic happen and score an amazing lot. But guess what? It rains on the just and the unjust alike. And unfortunately, you might find yourself in my shoes where you did not find anything at any yard sales. Nothing but NHL and Madden and FIFA, right? If you had a FIFA Saturday, just comment FIFA in the comment section and I'll know that today was a pure bust for you. But you know what? That's okay. That is okay. You're not always going to score all the time. You're not always going to find amazing gems every day. There are going to be those days where you just don't get lucky. You don't find anything. And that's okay. I wanted to talk about one thing here before I just kind of share with you some of the things that came in the mail. But I think a lot of times when folks jump on YouTube, they might see other people's collections. And I've even had folks who have commented on some of my videos and they'll say, man, I'd love to have this game that you have, or I'd love to have that game that you have. And I kind of wanted to just talk about some things that you can actively do if you don't like your collection. Now, I'm not talking to the folks who don't have a collection at all. I'm talking to the folks who you have a collection, even if it's a small collection, even if it's a collection of 30 games, right? And you have your 30 games and you every day you get up, you look at your collection, wherever you keep it, somewhere in your room, you got it on a shelf, wherever it is. Maybe it's 10 games, maybe it's 100 games, and you just don't like what you have in your collection. There's a few things that you can do to change that, right? The first thing, or the first step that I would take, if I had a collection that I just completely detested, I just didn't like it and I wanted to change it, I would create 2 spaces in my game room or in whatever room you keep your video games. And I would pretty much just separate. I would separate all of the games that I knew were games that I love, games that I felt were the bangers of my collection. And I don't care how small your collection is, what the value of your games are. Everyone has their own bangers for their collection, right? Because not everybody has a dud. Not everything in your collection is worthless. You have your own set of games that are worth something, right? So I would first set aside the games that you felt like are your own personal bangers and then put them on one side. And then I would take all of the games that you know are just probably not worth much, right? Those would be your games that are probably $15 and under. If they're games that are $15 and under, I would create another pile for that. And then if you have a section of games in your collection that fall somewhere in the 15 to, I don't know, $35, $40 range, I would create a separate section for those games, right? And what I would do then is a few things. I would start a whole new collection starting with the bangers, the ones that you felt were the really good games, the ones that you felt were, you know, the cream of the crop of your collection. I would use that as a base for your brand new collection. So that's step number 1. And you have to tell yourself, regardless of if it's 1 game, if it's 5 games, if it's 500 games, let that be the new base for your collection. Then from there, I would take the stack of games that range somewhere in, let's say, if you have games that range somewhere in the 15 and under space, I would then take all of those games, put them all in a bundle, put them all in a box, and I would post them online for sale. And depending on the value of the games, like if they're $15 or let's say all the games in that box are $15, I would price them all at $5 a piece, put them all in a bundle, and sell them as a bundle, right? List them on eBay, list them on Mercari, wherever it is you can set up an online store if you don't already have one, and say, hey, I'm selling this lot of PlayStation 3 games, 30 PlayStation 3 games for sale for $100 or $150. If the games themselves are not worth more than $5, let's say they're worth less than $5, I would probably price them at $1 a piece and then sell them as a bundle. So if you have 25 PS3 games that you know, I got 2 copies of Ghost of Tsushima, check that out. If you have 25 games that you know are worth about $5 a piece, I would bundle all those games and sell them at $1 a piece and get that money, get that out of your collection. It does 2 things. One, it removes it from your collection. So you no longer have to look at it anymore. You no longer have to be upset that you have those games in your collection. And 2, now you have another $25 to buy another game that is of value to you. Or you can put that $25 towards a fund to buy better games, right? Then when it comes to the games that are worth 15 to 40 or $50, that pile of games, you can do one of 2 things with that pile of games, right? If you are not in a rush and you're not anxious to make any massive changes immediately, you can take that pile of games and also sell them online, right? You can set up an online store and just list those games, price them competitively, and let them sell. And take the value, extract the value out of those games, and then use that to buy the games that you would feel better about having in your collection, right? That's one way you could do it. Another way you could do it, depending on the value and depending on how desirable those games are, you can take them to your local game store and see how much trade credit you might be able to get for those games, because your local retro game store, maybe they won't cash you out. Maybe they may not pay you what you want for those games, but perhaps there are games at your local game store that you've been eyeing, that you've always wanted, maybe the real games that you want to add to your collection, and take those games down because they do have some value. Like I said, these are games that are ranging between 15 and $50. And take those games down and say, hey, I'd like to see what type of store credit I could get for these games, and then see if they'd be willing to let you do a trade. And just by doing that, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better because, one, now you've gotten rid of the games that you don't really like having in your collection. You've kind of done somewhat of a purge. And take it from me, a person who's done a collection purge from time to time. Doing a collection purge can be one of the most lifting feelings, because you literally feel yourself getting rid of the stuff that you know you just don't want and you know you just won't play. And you're going to feel a lot better about your game selection when you go to pick games to play, because you know in the back of your mind, no matter what you put your hands on, it's going to be a top tier game that you're going to want to play, right? So those would be the 2 fastest methods for getting rid of that middle pile of games. Like I said, you can either sell them yourself online, price them competitively, individually. Don't bundle those. Those games that are 15 to $50, you want to sell those individually. You don't want to bundle up those, because those ones actually have some value that you can extract, right? That would be another route you could go. Now, there is another route you could go with those games that are 15 to $50, and that is, you could take those games, and if you're part of a gaming community, if you're part of, if you have friends in the retro gaming space, people who are into games like you are, you can post it somewhere, or you can reach out to your friends in that community and say, hey guys, listen, I'm doing a video game purge. I'm doing a collection purge. I'm trying to get rid of some things, and I'm trying to add some things to my collection. And I'm interested to know if any of you guys are interested in any of these games. I'm also wondering if there's anything that you have that you would be interested in showing to me, because I'm interested in changing my collection up. And sometimes, doing a collection purge isn't just about adding a bunch of really expensive games to your collection. Maybe you're no longer into shoot 'em ups and now you want to start playing RPGs. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of all the shoot 'em ups in my collection. Shoot 'em ups are very valuable games. Shoot 'em ups go for a high dollar. But you know what else goes for a high dollar? RPGs. RPGs are some of the more expensive games as well. So maybe you know someone who's doing the reverse. Maybe they're sick and tired of playing RPGs. And maybe they're like, you know what? I want to get into some shoot 'em ups. I want to get into some fast action, high flying shoot 'em up action. Who do I know that has a huge collection of shoot 'em ups so that I can go ahead and make that trade with them? And these are some of the things that you can do. And I'm mainly saying it now because I'm saying this now because you're going to start to see a lot of YouTube videos where people are getting a lot of really cool, fun, rare, and expensive games. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I see some of these videos and I'm just frustrated. I'm like, dude, I don't have anyone in my neighborhood that has that many games. Either that or, dude, I just don't have it in me to solicit, you know, to really go around and see who has games in my neighborhood. I personally feel awkward. Maybe it's something that I need to get over as a collector. Maybe I should be loud and proud as a video game collector. But me, I just know that in my own personal circles, I don't know anyone in my own personal circles that plays video games. I'm not part of a community like that. So if I were to go to work and I were to say, hey man, have you guys seen that new Stellar Blade? Everybody at work would look at me with like 3 heads. They'd be like, dude, Stellar Blade? What are you talking about? Right? So that's the world that I live in. Those are my social circles. So I'm kind of like a lone wolf when it comes, obviously with the exception of you all amazing folks on YouTube, right? Like, you are my outlet. YouTube is my retro gaming video game outlet. I can come here, I can vent, I can talk about games, I can gush over retro games, I can gush over shoot 'em ups, and it's okay because we're all in this together. But outside of here, yeah, no, I'm not in a world where I can just roll around with like, you know, Princess Peach t-shirt on and it's okay. No, folks will look at me like, what is going on with you? So again, you're going to see a lot of videos, you're going to see a lot of things, you're going to see a lot of posts, you're going to see where people are just posting a lot of really cool stuff, man. And I'm not hating. Listen, if anything, I am openly saying that I am jealous. I am jealous of the people who live in the parts of the world where games are just easy for them. You need one of these. If you collect cartridge-based games, you need one of these so that you can check and make sure that nobody is selling you fake stuff. You need one of these. Just little side commercial. This is a like cartridge screwdriver. I don't know the specific name for it, but just go on Amazon, type in video game cartridge screwdriver, and something like this should pop up. But you're gonna see a lot of those videos. And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna judge whether every pickup video is real or not. I assume those videos are real because anyone who has the time to drive around town and make a fake pickup video, you're a real loser. Like, like a true loser, man. Like, so I assume every pickup video that I see is real, from no matter who the content creator is. I just assume, wow, that was a really great pickup. I wish I could find that. But if you do want to improve your collection, if you do want to add things to your collection and not have a stagnant collection, right? Not have just a wall of games that you're, and I'm not talking about a wall of games that you won't be proud of, because it's like video game collecting isn't about being proud, like look at what I have and watch me stunt. It's about, if you don't have a collection of games that you feel happy to go into your game room and say, what do I want to play today? And know that no matter what you put your hands on, you're going to pick up a game that you want to play. You can change that, right? There are ways that you can change that. And it starts with, oh, look at this cool little pretty, I got to put this pretty Lego thing together. I still haven't put this together. 187 pieces. I need to like concentrate one day and put this together, because I feel like as soon as I crack this open, pieces are going to fly everywhere. So let me just put this down. But yeah, and so that's what I do sometimes. I'm speaking from experience. I would never tell you guys to do anything I don't do, or I haven't tried myself. And, you know, sometimes when I'm going through my collection and I'm like, man, you know, I'd like to change some things, I say to myself, okay, well, what do I need to sell? What games don't I like in my collection anymore? What can I sell and get rid of to make room for the stuff that I actually do want? What can I get rid of to make space for the games that are actually going to bring me more joy? What consoles can I sell so that I can get the consoles that I want? And if you look at my Switch collection, it's small. Like, this is it. And those of you who've followed my channel for a long time, you know that my Switch collection was way bigger than this. This whole cabinet used to be Switch. This whole cabinet used to be Switch. And now it's not, right? Now it's not Switch. Now it's made up of other things. It's got some, it does have some, I do have some collector's edition Switch stuff. I have my regular Switch games, but now it's got some Sega Saturn, some Sega CD, some GameCube in there. I've got an analog pocket and a Neo Geo pocket, right? And then down here, I've added some more original Neo Geo games. I've also got some Neo Geo games in this corner here, right? So I've had to make sacrifices to my collection to get more of the stuff that I actually want, because I realized that those 250 plus Switch games weren't going to do for me as much as being able to pop in Last Resort and go for a few hours trying to blast my way through the city. So this is just a little message, a little public service announcement from the Y2K collector, someone who loves to collect, someone who tries to get the best deals. You're not always going to have a day where you win. And your collection isn't always going to be exactly what you want it to be. But there are ways you can change things around, and there are ways that you can improve it without having to create a whole brand new budget to do so. So if you haven't been able to find anything today, and if you feel like this weekend was just a huge bust, sit down, go through your collection, see what it is that you don't like, see what it is that you don't want, start doing some separation, start pulling things apart, and start making the decision as to what you're going to sell to create that budget and what you're going to keep and what games you're going to use to start that amazing collection that you actually want to have and that you'll actually play. That does it for me. It's time for me to go hook up some hot wings, not hot wings, but I am making some buffalo wings. So air fry those things. Try it. Just season those bad boys up, hit them with some olive oil, throw them in the air fryer. Amazing. Better than Buffalo Wild Wings, better than wherever you get your wings. You can do it at home, and it's super cheap. So try that. I'm going to hook up some wings, some fries, some Brussels sprouts. Don't judge me. Brussels sprouts are actually pretty amazing with wings. Try it. Brussels sprouts are really good. Season those up pretty well. And then I'm going to watch LeBron probably play his last game of the season. But that does it for me. I'm the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you had a great Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow with a more formal video. You all take it easy.